The dream life started. Everything happened quickly. Every new day I had new experiences, new surprises. 2 weeks passed and I was Mrs. Oskin. Adnan had no children, so I thought everything he had was mine, but on the day of our intimate wedding, an unpleasant surprise awaited me the moment Adnan said, "Today my only nephew, my son, will arrive." To my sister, whom we lost 10 years ago in a car accident, so my nephew lives with me. He has been my son since that day. He finished his studies in London and today he is returning home. I was shocked, like now, where did this one come from? I thought, am I sacrificing my youth for nothing, for no profit? In the end, this one will save me the money, I thought. My mood dropped. I could not relax on my day. The journalists were waiting for the cover, but I could not come back the news I received about this nephew who was an obstacle in my life. I waited for hours to meet my rival who surely wants to collect my wealth. For that wealth I left everything, and now someone can stand in my way. I could not, I would burst with nervousness. The popular nephew did not show up the evening, so I have to be patient and meet him when we return from our trip, which was a gift from Adnan to me, 2 weeks in Paris. Paris, the city of light. I had heard a lot about it, but I did not have the finances to visit it. I no longer have a problem with money, so I knew I would travel wherever I wanted. We arrived at the beautiful hotel. The view was beautiful. The room was a paradise for me. We went out. We spent the whole day outside the hotel. Everything was so beautiful, so magical. I did not have time to think even of my mother and father. The first day was great. I enjoyed the luxury provided by Adnan. The man did not spare. The next day I went for a walk alone. Adnan had a headache, so he stayed in the room. I went into a bar. I wanted to enjoy myself a little alone. I'm young, I said, I need a party. I miss the time when my friends and I were having fun. Really, I missed speaking at that moment. I did not know how to speak English, so I had a hard time with the order. While a guy noticed me trying to order in Turkish, he started laughing and he ordered it for me. Great. I thought I had a drink company. At that moment I could not even guess what role will this guy play in my life. I am Honor. I am at your disposal, madam. I am glad. I am Lenore. We sat at the bar. Honor talked as if we had known each other all our lives. While he was talking I looked at him without blinking. How handsome a boy, I thought. How young and charismatic he was. Speaking, he started to take off his jacket. His shoulders were very big. He was well built. I do not know what was happening inside me. I felt a beautiful feeling that cannot be described. His gaze disturbed me. I do not know why. The beautiful sky blue eyes, the smile, literally all was beautiful. We talked for hours when at one point, the magical moment stopped ringing on my cell phone. Honor. Answer the call freely. Someone is very persistent. It must be something important. Lenore. It does not matter. I will call later. At that moment I panicked, because the call was from Adnan. He must have been worried while I was having fun. Unfortunately, I had to leave the place and return immediately to the hotel. I must go, I said, and got up immediately, although I did not want to leave at all because it was very nice to be in the company of the beautiful handsome young guy, who was very fun, very crazy. I just spent time with him very quickly. Honor, where are you in such a hurry? Please stay. We are talking very well. We have many common topics of conversation. Please just one more drink. He was very nice and handsome while he begged me to stay. I wanted to stay a lot. My heart tells me to stay, but my mind would not let me. The phone rang again, so I panicked that I ran quickly, while Honor followed me, pulled me by the hand and gave me. He said, "Stop, you are very strange. What is wrong with you? Is there a problem? Feel free to trust me, please." As he spoke to me, he looked at me so nicely, with his beautiful eyes, and he held my hand firmly, so firmly as if he were afraid I would run away. I did not. I do not know why I felt that way at that moment. Was it because I had a premonition that my feelings were really betraying him? Even though at that moment I did not admit to myself, I could not admit that I like Honor. So we said goodbye at that moment and I left. I did not know if I would ever meet him. While walking to the hotel, I thought of Honor, and I was sure I would not meet him again because I gave him a fake address, but fate plays with us, and so was, in this case, a casual acquaintance. I had 7 missed calls from Adnan when I arrived at the hotel. I entered the room breathless. I was scared. I did not know if I would be able to get out of this situation in which I told her my first lie of the many lies that will happen in my life. Sorry love, I got carried away walking in the shop windows. I saw very nice dresses. I walk all day, so now I am very tired. I have to go to bed. I kissed him and quickly went to bed. I wanted to go to bed. I wanted to go to bed and think about him, to the handsome blonde guy with beautiful blue eyes, to our conversation, to every word he uttered. The whole conversation was spinning in my head. His face appeared to me as I closed my eyes, but I did not sleep all night. That night I could not sleep. Or for me. From him, I will just tell him to go, and I went. I did not ask permission from him. I went out. The driver was waiting for me outside. He opened the door for me and we went to the biggest shopping center in Istanbul. I was spending money on nonsense. Then I gave the bags to my driver. I told him to wait for me in the car, and I sat down for a coffee. I wanted to enjoy myself a little alone. I was sitting by the Bosphorus. It was a beautiful place. I was thinking about everything it happened in this short period of time, how my whole life changed. My life started to look like a Turkish series. While I was sitting and drinking the beautiful black Turkish coffee, the waiter came and brought me a cocktail on the table and left. I got confused and turned immediately to tell him that he made a mistake with the Narcissus. He must make a mistake. The table was shaking, but at that moment when I turned my head, I lifted it up and he was standing in front of me. The handsome guy from Paris was standing. Is Honor. I could not believe it, like a dream. I was all confused. Honor. Young lady, fate sent you to me again, he said and bit his lip. He was beautiful, and I was very happy to see him again. I thought about how this is possible. Is it really fate? He immediately sat down on the chair next to me and hugged me with his muscular arms. I melted with happiness. I did not even know what to say. I just wanted to watch him talk. We talked for a long time. The time and atmosphere were very nice. He somehow spoke romantically to me, and at that moment he asked me, "Do you have someone in your life, a boyfriend, or maybe you are married?" He said and smiled, then added, "I'm joking about the question whether you are married. I know that you are certainly not. You are very young, of course you are not, or maybe you are." And he continued to laugh. And I thought about what to answer. If I say that I am married, He will laugh at me. When he finds out that my husband is 20 years older than me, he will realize that I got married only for money. He will change his opinion about me. Maybe I will never see him again. So I started lying and said, of course, I'm not married, so which girl would like to marry young? I'm still waiting for the right man for me. And I smiled as I entered into bigger lies. Do you have someone in your life? I said, and at that moment I was impatiently expecting the answer to be negative. I did not want anyone by his side. I did not have it until some time ago. Now there is someone who interests me, but there is still nothing between us, said Honor. And at that moment I wanted to go crazy with rage and anger. There was some jealousy in me. I said, why I'm jealous? I only know the man for 2 days. He can have whoever he wants. I'm not jealous. I convinced myself, and I said, nice, I'm glad for you. I hope you will be a couple. You will be together soon. I wish. I got up immediately. I told him I had to go. I left money on the table and I left. He followed me again, took me by the hand again and asked me to go back to the table, to have a drink, to talk, but I was determined and a little angry, so I said I have to leave and I left. While we were driving, I was thinking, as always, I was talking to myself and I was answering to myself. Why am I worried if there is someone he is in love with? Why is it important to me what I care about? I was talking to myself. I arrived. Adnan was waiting for me in the yard. He opened the door for me and said, tonight I am taking you to the most beautiful restaurant. I do not want to see you sad. I do not want you to be in a bad mood. We will go out a little and you will be fine. He was really a very good and careful man. He did not deserve to lie to him, so at that moment I decided to pay more attention to him, not to lie to him anymore and not to have thoughts about another man who was not worth it and was in love with another. I will be the most beautiful, only for your love I will prepare, I said and went inside to prepare. Now I could choose what to wear. I had one dress that I kept for special occasions. This time I had more than 50 dresses that I never wore, so I could choose. I took them out one by one. I thought what a real hit for that night. One of them caught my eye, so I decided to shine in a red dress, which highlighted my figure. It was all close to my body while highlighting my chest. It had a deep neckline. It looked very provocative and sexy. I stood in front of the mirror. Something was missing. Then I opened the jewelry box. I had beautiful ruby earrings, so I decided to wear them. My long silky hair fell on my chest. I stood in front of the mirror and admired my youth and beauty. I picked up my sandals and now I was fully groomed, stylish as on the cover, like a famous actress or singer walking on the red carpet. I was ready. I took my bag and went down the stairs. As I walked slowly down the stairs, I saw Adnan talking to a man. The man was behind his back, so I did not know who he was. I thought a guest of Adnan, so I started approaching her. At that moment Adnan said, "Come my dear to meet my only nephew, who is like a son to me." I approached with a smile on my face, while the man turned suddenly, and at that moment I was out of breath. I felt suffocated. I fell to the ground. I do not know how long I was unconscious. When I woke up I was lying on my bed. In a room above my head was Adnan standing and holding my hand.